Hi all, made it into the studio for the first painting of 2026. So crazy to say. Even though we're already a couple weeks into 2026, this is actually the first painting of the year. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you what I'm going to be working on. But before we jump into this week's video, here's a quick introduction, just in case you're new around here. Hi there, I'm Stacy, the encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. Encaustic literally means to burn in. So I paint with beeswax and a torch, and because it's mixed media, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Consider subscribing and joining this artsy community. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded artsy folks like yourself. All right, the plan is to paint one more of these little mini 4x4 paintings. Well, one more today. And just to remind you, before I took a short break here in the studio, I was painting different art styles on these little 4x4 mat boards. And so here's the first 8 in the series. And I've decided to continue on with this series, obviously. And I think I have 4 more of these little mini mat board pieces already cut out. So I'm gonna do a total of 12 in this series, which I think is a pretty good number to do. So today's style is cubism, and I already have some encaustic medium and encaustic white paint already put down on this, just so y'all know. The wax is turned on, so if you hear some creaking in the background, that is because the griddles are heating up. And what I'm going to do is explain kind of my plan for this painting, and then we'll start the painting process. And I think I misspoke here. I think I said I was going to be doing cubism. I already did cubism. So if I said cubism, that is not correct. Cubism was already done. The painting style I'm doing is color field. So that's the painting style. I don't know if I said cubism or not, but it's definitely color field. I've already done cubism. All right, so color field, that's the style I'm doing. And all of these have been nature or tree themed paintings. So I was trying to think a little bit about maybe like a color field tree painting, maybe some fall color leaves, or perhaps like different various shades of green for the leaves, maybe throw in a bit of brown for the bark. I kind of had some ideas rolling around in my head as far as what colors to use. And then we've had a very mild winter here. And my dad, on the other hand, in Ohio, has had some, like, ton of snow. And they usually get snow there, but he is in an area that doesn't get quite as much, and he's had a ton. So I've been kind of living vicariously through him, because if you know me, you know I love the snow. And while we've had some, we haven't had as much as I would like. But at any rate, so he's been sending me these pictures and images back and forth about the snow he's getting. So I've been living, like I said, vicariously through him. And I will insert the picture that he sent to me this morning, and I've decided that that is going to be the inspiration for today's color field painting. So yeah, let's see how this goes. A beautiful like winter sunset, and I love the colors in it. So fingers crossed I can pull it off. But first I need to pick out some colors, and then we can start painting on this little mini square. All right, while I get these colors picked out and start to paint this painting, I thought I would give you a brief description of what
color field painting is, and a brief history behind it as well. Color field is a form of abstract painting that emerged in the 1950s and 1960s. It was pioneered in the late 1940s by Mark Rothko, Barnett Newman, and Clifford Still, who were searching for a more primal abstraction style. They wanted to emphasize emotion and spirituality over representation. Color field artists abandoned all artwork that depicted recognizable, real-world objects and forms and instead painted large fields of color, hence color field. These large areas of color were typically without strong tonal contrast and did not define a point of focus. The large scale aimed to envelop the viewer. Color field paintings often had a flatness and rejected traditional depth. Color field artists believed fields of color could tap into our most basic human emotions. They believed that color evoked emotion, and depending on the viewer, different meanings or emotions would be felt when looking at a painting. What could color express without representing anything? Now, I know I'm stretching this a bit as I'm actually picking colors from a photo, so technically the colors represent this photo, but I do think that when you look at this painting, perhaps in the end, you might not exactly know what it represents unless you were also looking at the photo. And also, I'm painting on a 4x4 inch surface and not a large, massive surface that a lot of the traditional color field artists painted on. But, stretching this just a bit, like some of the other art styles I did as well. So anyways, I thought I would describe color field briefly, and now you can just sit back and enjoy the rest of the video. Hope you enjoy it.
All right, all. One more little mini is done. Try to get you some close-ups here. All right, here you go. Quite a bit of texture in it, which I really like. Of course, some smooth areas and some more textured areas, but I like kind of that texture added to it. And I was trying pretty hard not to go too realistic or literal with it. I think it's pretty good. I'm happy with it, and I think it represents the color field art style well, and also the colors in it represent the photo pretty well. So there you go, one more. Only thing left is to clean up this mess.
All right, studio is cleaned up, and I think this is going to end the studio portion of this video, but I thought I would put the painting and the reference photo side by side so you can see the two. And we've had some interesting things happen this week, so I thought I would share those with you now. If you're only interested in the painting portion, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up button if you liked the video. And if you're interested in life things, stay tuned. Here we go.
Good morning, all. Don't mind the very messy hair. It's a bit unwashed. And the lighting actually isn't too bad. I waited to do this video for a little bit till we got some daylight going on here because, I don't know if you can see back there, a little bit dark. Our power is out. And it actually went out at about 2:30 in the morning. And we are supposed to most likely be out of power for a little while. But yeah, we're just sitting here kind of with an unexpected day off, I guess. So cuddled up under a blanket, got the wood burner going. And yeah, but I thought I might take you along for this adventure. Luckily we have the camper, so we have a place to cook some food and things like that. We did walk down to the neighbors to fill up some gallons of water, so that's good. So we've got some drinking water. But I thought I would show you a couple images here, and I'll probably do a voiceover for the video showing you what has happened. I also wanted to share that we had some really, really strong winds come through last night, or I guess it would be early this morning, and knocked down a bunch of wires. And I think they were such massive winds because we don't normally get crazy winds like that here, but I think because the weather was so incredibly warm, and then we had a cold front come through. So it's now a bit chilly, but you know, that's okay. It is winter here technically. So yeah, I think that's why we had such crazy winds and why the power lines did come down. It was just so crazy windy out there. But anyways, here comes voiceover me explaining and showing you our situation here.
All right, this might be a little bit hard to see in these images, but I tried to get some decent pictures, hopefully anyways. But basically a power line got ripped out of our barn dominium here and was about waist high going across our driveway. Luckily, we were able to kind of sneak the Jeep out, but as you can tell, hopefully in these pictures, it was very, very close to not being able to get the Jeep out. But the way we had the Jeep parked, we were able to sneak it out. So we at least had a vehicle accessible just in case we needed to run to the store to stock up on supplies or anything like that. So our entire street was also out of power, and the reason was, unfortunately, a big, huge, beautiful American beech tree came down and fell on the power lines. So a little bit unfortunate that we lost this big, beautiful tree. The power company and the fire department did eventually come and fix the problem, and we are now back up and running and have power. All right, now that we have power restored to the barn dominium and everything is back to normal, I thought we would head on down the road to where this huge American beech tree fell. Since the wood is still here, the fire department and power company just kind of piled it alongside the road. And as you guys may or may not know, but we use quite a bit of wood to heat our house in the winter and colder months. So we're just going to be chopping up this large tree. We split some of the wood between us and a couple of our neighbors who also heat their house up. But I don't know if you can tell here, I'm trying to show you exactly how big this tree is. It is quite massive. And so we decided to head back home to grab the Ventrac tractor once we got all of the logs split up, because there was no way we were going to be able to lift these logs up and put them into the back of the pickup truck. And so the bucket on the tractor once again came in quite handy this time of year. And we're just piling up these huge, massive logs. As you can see, I'm struggling a bit here, but we eventually get them into the bucket and onto the trailer and head back to the barn dominium. And you're going to see here in a few moments, we got quite a few logs piled up. And this pile that I'm going to show you is about half of the amount that we got. So yeah, we should be getting fairly set for winter for next year. These are going to take out a little while to dry out, as the tree has just fallen and they're quite wet. So we're going to need to let them dry for at least a season. But we're happy with the amount that we got, and we'll continue to collect firewood as we go along throughout this year. But the snow is starting to fall, so we're going to call it for today. Thank you so much for following along. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, hit that thumbs up button. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.